No? Okay.
Hello. Welcome to the first edition of Heroes of Wrestling's podcast.
We up in this bitch, taking over the podcast game for the 99 to 2000s. That's a song. You probably wouldn't know it. Whatever.
I'm too young for that.
I'm probably too young for it. That's cool.
Anyway, I am your host as always, Double S, Shane Stevens. This is the know-it-all, Novito Brown.
Hola, Novito.
You need to make that a song. And then
That's a Jay-Z song. Hola, Jovito.
Well, you need to make it Hola, Novito.
From the Blueprint 1.
Anyway, today, we're going to talk about our top 5 WrestleMania main events.
Main events. All right, so
Main events.
Here is the rules for this countdown.
And for every countdown.
Well, no, just for this one because this one's kind of tricky. So a main event, by definition, is the last match of the night. So headlining matches such as Rock and Hogan, such as Chris Jericho and CM Punk, such as Undertaker and Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25.
That's all right. Yeah.
Those are headlining matches. Those were not the main events for WrestleMania.
Isn't that one of Shawn Michaels' many nicknames?
Yes. He's the headliner in Miss WrestleMania.
And the main event.
He can do all of it.
He's the headliner and the main event. Let's talk about that for a minute.
All of it.
How can you be both?
Because he's Shawn Michaels. That's how.
You want to flip the coin?
Flip the coin and see who goes first? Are you going to call in there?
Yep. Heads.
God damn it. It's heads. Bullshit, man. Whatever, man. So, here to start off, the countdown is the Mr. Know-It-All, the Prince of Time and Space, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Novito Brown. All right, so my top 5 WrestleMania main events. To start off my list, we're going to take the year back to 1990. WrestleMania 6, Hogan, Warrior. This match
Ultimate One
was supposed to be the changing of the guard, so to say, in WWE at the time. They wanted to give Ultimate Warrior the ball and see if he could run with it, and
literally run with it.
He definitely fumbled, but gladly Hulk Hogan was there to pick it up again. And Bret Hart and
well, hopefully we won't see a repeat of history because 29th of this month, ladies and gentlemen, is WrestleMania 31, and Vince McMahon is trying to make another big guy the face of the company with Roman Reigns.
We'll talk about that when the time comes.
But
I have very strong opinions on that, actually.
I am very scared that Roman Reigns might be the next Warrior and drop the ball.
I don't think so.
I have doubts. There's gonna be, John Cena has had moments, but not like he fucks up his promo in mid.
John Cena I understand why John Cena is a 15-time champion, because truthfully, nobody works as hard as John Cena. Period.
No.
I'm saying it's always the hardest worker.
No offense.
Period.
I don't care if there's offense. Wrestling fans are spoiled.
Wrestling fans are very spoiled. We are horrible fucking human beings, and we all deserve to be shot. Because we are very spoiled human beings.
We want every wrestler to come back from retirement.
They want Daniel Bryan to main event WrestleMania 2 years in a row for some reason.
Hey man,
whatever.
Leave it alone.
Anyway, my fourth match number 4 on my countdown
is kind of a
Shawn and Taker from 26.
All right,
that's not necessarily cheating. That's the main event. They main event that. Shawn Michaels deserves to retire at the main event at his show.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Shawn Michaels is the best wrestler.
I feel like it could have been more of a big impact if Shawn lost the first time if they were the main event. Kind of like Rock and Hogan were the main event for 18.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Rock and Austin weren't the main event for 18.
I meant Rock and Hogan.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, whatever works. Match number 3 is Rock and Austin 17. WrestleMania 17, 2001.
Number 2, baby.
Houston, we have a problem. That was the tagline for that WrestleMania.
At the boo right now.
Vince McMahon.
One of the most god awful decisions Stone Cold's ever made in his career.
Turning heel. I don't necessarily. I enjoyed the summer of Austin. When Austin was a heel.
Well, no, see,
Austin remember when on the Triple H podcast, he was like he's always been a heel. He's always been a heel. He just beat the shit out of other heels. Match number.
Top 5 underrated wrestlers.
Match number 2, Triple H, HBK, Chris Benoit, WrestleMania 20, 2004.
The Ghost.
I think it's a really great match. Actually, I think
it is.
I think that match is better than any match Triple H and Shawn Michaels have done by themselves.
I agree.
I think adding Chris Benoit, making that triple.
They were in a rivalry at this point, right? Right?
They were.
They just added Benoit for extra pizzazz.
They were really, in my opinion, winding down that rivalry. That rivalry was going from 2003 to about 2004. So, mid 04. So,
Ended it bad blood?
I don't know when it ended, but I do know that, Chris Benoit wins this match. He becomes champion in Madison Square Garden, WrestleMania 20. I think it's a really great.
I'm gonna edit what Vince. I'm gonna edit, rearrange what Vince McMahon said. The boyhood dream has come true for what is he called? The Canadian Crippler?
The Crippler.
Or Crippler.
The Rabbit Wolverine.
Rabbit Wolverine.
Chris Benoit.
Chris Benoit.
Honorable mentions, guys. Honorable mentions.
Honorable
mentions. Mentions was kind of hard, actually, for me.
And this is a rivalry. What was your first rivalry, Novito? Because
my first one?
Yeah.
My first one is Rock versus Cena.
That one is very personal for me and him because this is when I was still a Cena guy, and
and I was trying to explain to my apprentice that
I'm your apprentice.
That The Rock is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And nobody wants to listen to me. So The Rock taxed that ass at WrestleMania 28 in 2012. I was more than happy.
To talk some shit.
I was more than happy.
To talk some shit.
I'm saying, and quite honestly, they should have kept that at once in a lifetime. I didn't need to see that twice, personally.
No, the return match was god awful. It was just finisher after finisher after finisher after finisher.
Yeah, it was, yeah. So, and then match number 2 would be, Hogan, match number 2 on my honorable mentions would be Hogan and Andre.
Another passing of the torch.
The most influential match in WWE history.
All right. I don't know.
Everybody talks about Hogan and Andre. Everybody talks about seeing Hogan pick up Andre.
And slam him.
That's it. Fun fact for, all of my avid wrestling fans out there, Hulk Hogan wasn't the first person to slam Andre the Giant.
No, Ultimate Warrior was, right?
I don't even believe Ultimate Warrior was the first person to slam Andre the Giant.
Well, I think it was because of how big the story was getting and the animosity.
I think because Hulk Hogan did it. I think if Macho Man would have did it at WrestleMania 3, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. If it was like a mid-card match. But since it was Hulkamania.
Hulkamania, the undefeated Andre the Giant, main event WrestleMania with Bobby the Brain Heenan in his ring corner. That adds pizzazz, Avery. Novito, whoever you are.
Jesus. So, that leaves me with one match, and my match number 1 on my top 5 greatest WrestleMania main events of all time.
Speaking of boyhood dreams,
Shawn Michaels and the Hitman, Bret Hart.
The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be versus the greatest of all time.
Bret Hart is, I'm at this age where I know some shit and I have opinions about shit. And my opinion is that Bret Hart isn't the best wrestler of all time. He isn't the best there is. He isn't the best there was. He isn't the best there ever will be.
Before Shawn Michaels.
I don't ever think he's the excellence of execution.
Before Shawn Michaels, there was Bret Hart.
I don't think Bret Hart was that good ever. And that might just be my opinion. And I could be wrong.
You are wrong.
I could be wrong.
But there's a lot of things.
I highly doubt that I am.
Ah, mother.
But, he's boring to me. Bret Hart is just boring. But the match itself was really good.
I think you favored Shawn Michaels more because he was more charismatic.
No, Shawn Michaels is overall better. Like, he's just better than me. Like, it's something that
he has cockiness.
It's something about Shawn Michaels that put Shawn Michaels over every wrestler ever. Ever.
Right. That's another discussion for another day.
Those are my list with my honorable mentions. What do you have, Mr. Stevens?
Now, my WrestleMania main events. Let's rewind the clock back to 1985, the first ever WrestleMania with Hulk Hogan and Mr. T
versus
the greatest heel of the 80s, Roddy Piper and Paul Orndorff. I don't care if that's debatable. That's not debatable. Fuck you, whoever thinks that Roddy Piper's not the greatest heel of the 80s.
Fair enough.
Fair enough, yeah. The reason I said this is because people have said that without this WrestleMania main event, there wouldn't be a WrestleMania to begin with, and I agree. Because Hulk Hogan was the biggest star of the 80s. Hands down. Macho Man was a solid, like, 2 steps behind Hulk Hogan. Like, that's how I believe it. Hogan was the one.
Sorry, excuse me? What was that one line you just said?
Macho Man was like this close, like 2 steps or 1 step behind Hulk Hogan to being the greatest of all time of the 80s. He's the second greatest of all time of the 80s.
They said Macho Man was the only person, when they put the belt on Macho Man, that his cells wouldn't get bad. They would either get better or they would stay the same.
I'm just going by statistics.
Macho Man can wrestle better than Hulk Hogan.
I know.
Which automatically makes Macho Man the best wrestler of the 80s.
I'm not saying that Hogan's a better wrestler. I'm just saying he was the bigger star. Star power, not wrestling ability. Star power.
Because kids were all hooked up on steroids back then, and they were smoking crack.
Stop it!
It was the 80s.
Avery, no,
People didn't understand.
No, Vito, stop it. Anyway, it was a good main event. What people don't really seem to know is, notice, I don't know, I can see why, but Snuka was in Hogan's corner, and
Snooker.
Cowboy Bob Orton, Bobby was,
Bobby. Sparky Plug. The worst.
Stop it.
Poor alcoholic.
Stop it. Anyway, that's why, they were in the corners of each of them, and they had something to do with the match, but that's why Hulk Hogan and Mr. T vs. Roddy Piper and Orndorff is my number 5. Number 4 is one of his honorable mentions, Andre and Hogan, because of the magnitude of, we've already stated, the magnitude of that match was so huge. Like nothing had ever been done like that before in like a main event type status or at a pay-per-view, wrestling pay-per-view. I believe at least. But what else is there to say about Hogan and Andre? Do you have anything to add, Vito?
Nope.
Okay then. Number 3. Speaking of Macho Man versus Hogan. Because this was a very debated topic. It's wrestling versus it's a wrestler versus an entertainer. And wrestlers versus entertainers always have good matches. Almost always. Let me rephrase that. Almost always.
I knew that.
But yeah, that was the debate. That was the debate of the 80s. Who's the bigger star, Macho Man or Hogan?
I don't think that's necessarily a debate. I'll give you Hulk Hogan.
All right. Well,
however,
it was a dream match for wrestling fans of the 80s, and they got it, and unfortunately, Hogan won. But anyway, he was hot dogging. Anyway, my number 2 match is 96's Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart, mainly because and this was kind of biased towards me. I put it on here mainly because it was the WrestleMania that took place during my birth year, but also it's just a fucking amazing match. Greatest, one of the best technical matches of all time.
Can I have a sidebar right fast?
A what bar?
A sidebar.
What is a sidebar? I sure guess. I go ahead. I don't know what that is, but go ahead.
So apparently they're gonna induct Medusa, aka Alundra Blaze, into the Hall of Fame this year.
That's the no. Hell no! I refuse. I refuse. After what she pulled in WCW, fuck no. No. I'm sorry. Anyway,
I mean,
Kevin Nash should go in the Hall of Fame before anybody.
I mean,
what you mean, bro? They put Sonny.
Listen.
They put Sonny in though, and she's a whore. So I mean,
this is why I feel Alundra Blaze shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, because she wrestled in a diminished diva
division.
She had Bertha. She had little Asian chick.
But she had Bull Nicole. Bull.
Yeah, her?
Yeah. Well, she's a good wrestler.
I mean, but yeah, it wasn't on like no Trish Stratus leader type shit. It was more.
Should that be taken away from her? The only reason I don't want her in the Hall of Fame because she was disrespectful towards the title. You don't do that shit.
She did throw the belt in the trash can on live TV.
Fuck Eric Bischoff for thinking that was a good idea.
I probably wouldn't induct that bitch either.
Fuck that bitch.
Hey.
Fuck that bitch.
Hey.
Fuck that bitch. Fuck that bitch.
Hey. Sorry.
Anyway. Yes, that's why Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart are my number 2. Here's my honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions.
Okay. My first honorable mention is Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar because
main event of WrestleMania 19. Sorry, go ahead.
Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar because it was such a good damn match.
It was a really good match.
Oh my god!
Talking about 2 of the best wrestlers ever.
No,
actual wrestlers ever.
Actual wrestlers, NCAA and Olympic gold medal winners Oh my god.
Winner.
And
one of them has won.
And then came the shooting star press that fucked it up.
And Brock Lesnar is already a freak of fucking nature. If he landed that fucking move, dog, he landed it before.
Yeah, he had.
He landed it like multiple times.
It was just that Kurt Angle was too far away. But anyway, that's one of my honorable mentions. And my other honorable mention is now this is why my heart was torn. I couldn't decide between two of my favorite entertainers or wrestlers, but I'm going with, let's round the clock back to 1998. Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Shawn Michaels.
As an honorable mention. Now this was during the Attitude Era, ladies and gentlemen, and people love to go back to the Attitude Era because it was so fun. But one of the main stars of the Attitude Era, for most of it, was Stone Cold Steve Austin. And he finally got his moment, much to Shawn's chagrin. There wouldn't be no Attitude Era if it wasn't for the Heartbreak Kid.
There wouldn't still be an Attitude Era if Shawn got hurt and then left, there would be no Attitude Era without Steve Austin.
I haven't quite understood it.
Anyway, and I love the match, even with Shawn Michaels I'm gonna twist Kurt Angle's words now. Shawn Michaels wrestled with a broken freaking back. So
kind of hard to even stand up with a broken freaking back.
And he wrestled a match. He wrestled a match with Steve Austin. So it could have been better. It could have been so much better, but it was an alright match overall. All right, well, those are my honorable mentions. And my number one match, main event match, is Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock at WrestleMania 15.
At 15?
15.
Over 17?
Because that was the height of the Attitude Era. Rock was already becoming a big star. Austin was already a big star, and people were wondering, like, if I grew up watching the Attitude Era, I didn't, unfortunately, but if I did, I would want to have seen Rock versus Austin at a WrestleMania, and that's what people got in Philadelphia. And I'm not thinking it's just because The Rock lost. No, I'm not doing that because I'm not that biased. But it was actually a damn good match. It was a really good match. And my heart was into it.
Yeah, I can see that.
And it was the first of a trilogy.
It was the first of a trilogy.
It's the greatest rivalry of all time. That's why it's number one.
Fair enough.
I explained myself.
If you agree or disagree in any type of way, feel free to leave a comment at